Let's now talk about when you have a positive numerator and a positive denominator, but you divide both the numerator and denominator by a negative number. Will this idea of simplifying fractions still work? Let's talk about 12/20ths. Now, we just found out that that is equal to 3/5. Now, this is equal to -3 over -5 because negative divided by negative is positive. I explained why this is the case in a previous set of videos called Multiplying and Dividing Positive and Negative Numbers, and hopefully the link to that previous set of videos is in the description of this video. So we end up with 12/20ths is equal to -3 over -5. Now, how could we have got from 12/20ths straight to -3 over -5? Well, we would have divided both the numerator and denominator by -4. So it does work when you divide both the numerator and denominator by a negative number rather than by a positive number. It still works, this idea of simplifying fractions. Now let's suppose that you have a negative numerator and a positive denominator. Will this idea of simplifying fractions still hold true? Well, let's talk about -12/20ths. Now this is equal to -12/20ths because negative divided by positive is equal to negative. I explained why this is the case in a previous set of videos called Multiplying and Dividing Positive and Negative Numbers, and hopefully the link to that previous set of videos is in the description of this video. But what that means is that we can take the minus sign from the numerator and bring it to the beginning of the fraction. Now we already know that 12/20ths is equal to 3/5, and we can use again this idea that negative divided by positive is negative. So you can bring the minus sign from the beginning of the fraction to the numerator, and we end up with -12/20ths is equal to -3/5. Now we wanted to go directly from -12/20ths to -3/5. How would we have done that? Well, we would have divided both the numerator and denominator by +4. Now let's talk about when you divide both the numerator and denominator by -4. So I rewrote the first 3 steps in the left column. Now positive divided by negative is negative. So -3/5 is equal to 3 over -5. I took the minus sign from the beginning of the fraction and moved it to the denominator. So we end up with -12/20ths is equal to 3 divided by -5. Now how would we have gone directly from -12/20ths to 3 divided by -5? Well, we would have divided both the numerator and denominator by -4. Therefore, in both of these cases, simplifying fractions still works. Let's now talk about when you have a positive numerator and a negative denominator. Let's talk about 12 over -20. This is equal to -12/20ths because positive divided by negative is equal to negative. So I took the minus sign from the denominator and moved it to the beginning of the fraction. Now we already know that 12/20ths is equal to 3/5, and we can use this idea again that positive divided by negative is negative, so I moved the minus sign from the beginning of the fraction to the denominator, and we end up with 12 divided by -20 is equal to 3 divided by -5. How could I have gone directly from 12 divided by -20 to 3 divided by -5? Well, I could have divided both the numerator and denominator by 4. So I rewrote the first 3 steps from the left column. Now let's use the idea that negative divided by positive is equal to negative. So I moved the negative sign from the beginning of the fraction to the numerator. And we end up with 12 divided by -20 is equal to -3/5. How could I have gone directly from 12 divided by -20 to -3/5? Well, I could have divided both the numerator and denominator by -4. Therefore, for both of these cases, this idea of simplifying fractions still works. Let's now talk about when you have a numerator that's negative and denominator that is negative. Will this idea of simplifying fractions still hold true? Let's talk about negative 12 divided by negative 20. Now this is equal to 12 20ths. Because negative divided by negative is equal to positive, we already know that 12 20ths is equal to 3/5. Now let's use this idea again that negative divided by negative is equal to positive. So that means that negative 3 divided by negative 5 is equal to 3/5. And so we end up with negative 12 divided by negative 20 is equal to negative 3 divided by negative 5. Now how could we have gone directly from negative 12 divided by negative 20 to negative 3 divided by negative 5? Well, we could have divided both the numerator and denominator by positive 4. Now I rewrote the first 3 steps from the left-hand column. And we end up with negative 12 divided by negative 20 is equal to 3/5. Now how could I have gone directly from negative 12 divided by negative 20 to 3/5? Well, I could have divided both the numerator and denominator by negative 4. Therefore, for both of these cases, this idea of simplifying fractions still holds true. Thank you for watching this video. Here is a link to the playlist about simplifying and expanding fractions, in which this video is a part of. Feel free to click on this link.